Hey guys, welcome to another episode of DeLuSioNaL's Arcade. So in this episode, we're going to focus on the Outrun. We're going to focus on the EPROM burning for the enhanced kit. I know I promised you guys that for a while. This one here is running the enhanced mode. As you can see, it's in a track mode and free play. And this one over here is not. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the differences between the two. I'm going to show you exactly what to do, what you need to do to dump the ROMs from the board onto files, and then just inject the enhanced ROMs on them and burn them. So without further ado, let's just go ahead and jump right into the video. All right guys, so we're at my Outrun right now. This is mine that has the enhanced ROMs on it. And you can see if you look on the lower left here, it says free play. In free play mode, typically it does not have this attract mode where it kind of shows the car driving and stuff. This enhanced ROM actually fixes that problem where you can have it in free play and it doesn't just sit there. When I mean sit there, I'll show you over here. This is actually how it's working on the other Outrun, where it kind of just sits there, it counts down. You can see the timer on the top counting down, and it sits there the whole time. And basically it goes to the screen select mode and then goes from there. So let me show you what I mean. I'm going to go ahead and reset this here. I'm going to go back actually to exit, and you'll see. So right now, when you turn it on, it'll go right to the screen right here because it's set for free play. You can see down here, free play. Now what happens is, you can hear the breeze and stuff. There's no selection of music. You can't select it, but there's no sound is what I mean. There's no preview. The enhanced ROMs do have that, so keep that in mind. And then basically it'll just sit there this whole time and burn in your screen, so it's not really good. What people do in this case, in this machine here, somebody drilled a hole in the coin door to add a free play button because they set it for coin mode so that it would actually have the attract mode and then go into it. But this one, after a while, it'll time out and then it'll just sit here and the time will just go off. So it does that constantly. It goes from here, it goes back to the other screen and back and forth, and that stinks. So instead of having to put a credit button, what I did on mine, I just added the enhanced ROM kit, and the enhanced ROM kit, like I said, it's set for free play like you can see here. And what's cool is that once you press the button here, you know, it flashes as it should. The other one doesn't flash, by the way. It only does after you put the credit in. But this here, can you see the music? It says passing breeze. You can actually set it to different ones here. And then once you select what you want, you just press the button, goes right in, and you play the game. So there you go. So I'm going to get out of that. The other thing on here, I'm going to switch back and forth. I told you guys to try to compare them. This one actually has a glitch. Actually, even though you have it set to, I believe if you have it set to credit mode and it's in attract mode, basically, every now and then there'll be a glitch where you hear a skidding sound. You can read more about that on the actual website where they have the enhanced Outrun, but they actually patched it on the original, on the enhanced version, so it doesn't do that. So on this one, you can see everything's on there, but you'll see voice 1, 2, 3, and 4. And 4, as you guys already know, I've said it in many videos, they actually have a sound in there from, I think, Space Harrier, which is a higher resolution or higher bit rate, which does not support it on this hardware, but they still have the physical file there. So if you were to extract that voice, which they have, you can go online and view it and stuff. Actually, I'll have a link in the description if you're curious. But voice 4 is not there, so if you press it, nothing will happen. But if you press it for the other ones, you'll hear everything like it should. So there's nothing wrong with it. It's kind of taking up a space, you know. So what the guy did for Outrun, the enhanced version, he actually has each track 1, 2, and 3, and then there's the ending one when you finish the game. It has this really slow melody. He actually took this one out, removed it, and then put the other ones in there and made music 4. And so now I'm over here. This is my machine here. I'm going to go into test mode. Let me just quickly open it up. And you'll see if you look over here, there's voice 1, 2, and 3, but 4 is missing. So he took it out because there's no reason for it to be there since it doesn't make any sound anyway, and he added the music 4 on the bottom. So if you want to preview that, you can. So you have these musics here. Right? Then you have the next one. Then you have the third. And then of course you have the last one. So that's not on the menu. You can't test that in the other mode. I think it's really awesome that he did that. So let me go ahead and exit. And if you go to the dip switches, that's the other thing that's different here. Right now, this one has all the dip switches that are normal, but on the, I believe on the B switch, number 4 is not used. But in the enhanced version, he actually utilizes it to select miles per hour or kilometers per hour. So if you're wondering, it doesn't really say it in the documentation. You have to really search for it on the older version of the site where the enhanced ROMs are. It does say that dip 4 is for the miles per hour. So, you know, people have asked me, I think someone asked me in the last video, hey, how do you do miles per hour with the enhanced kit? That's how you do it. You got to turn dip switch 4 on B. And in this case, it's on, so I have it set for miles per hour because it defaults to kilometers per hour only on the normal Outrun. So this one here, let's see if I could see some other setting here. Time adjustment, that's a new setting. Let's see, right now, no, I'm sorry, it's timing system. There's fixed and there's original. So I think they discovered a flaw in the actual hardware or something, that it didn't calculate it right. Like if you take a stopwatch and you put it side by side, it actually, the seconds, because there was some cycle, a few milliseconds each second, it would actually be off by the time you go to the end. So I don't like setting mine to original. I like setting it to fixed. And since there's no dip switch to do that, you basically just take the shifter, you go down or up. So up is fixed and down is the original. So I like to set it to fixed. All you have to do is set it to that and then exit the screen and it'll save it. So mine is set to that. That's not included in the original. And then I believe they fixed, there's a sample or something with a song where it would have a glitch where it would get distorted. So that's also fixed on this enhanced version. So there's a whole bunch of advantages to having this. And last but not least, the biggest thing of all is that whether you have the super capacitor or not installed, I'll talk about that later, but this one will save high scores with the original hardware. There's no modifications needed. All you have to do is swap the ROMs, and then it'll instantly use that capacitor for saving the score, and it'll last a few weeks. On this machine here, I actually have it set to the original one, so later on in the video, we're actually going to swap that out to the super capacitor. Unfortunately, when you do that, just remember, if you're upgrading to the other capacitor, you do lose your high score saves, you know, if you have it enhanced. So in my case, I do have the enhanced ROMs on here. It saved my score on that capacitor, and then I'm going to be removing it, so I'm going to lose the high scores. So that's cool, because all of them say Dell anyway, so it's kind of nice to have them all there, and I can reset some high scores on here. So that's just keep that in mind if you do switch out the super capacitor, which you don't have to. Again, this one does not have it, and it still saves the high scores just fine, and it lasts weeks, so you're set. But if you do want to solder it and you're adventurous, I can show you how to do that, and then it'll last months with it turned off. But you know, just make sure to turn it on, I don't know, like every 4 weeks or so or less, and each time you turn it on, it'll reset that number because it charges the capacitor. So just keep that in mind. All right, so let's go ahead. What we're going to do is we're going to take this one here, we're going to kind of move it out, and we're going to switch the back and open it up and remove the ROMs so that we can suck the information from the ROMs and read them and save them as files, and then we can go ahead and patch them for the enhanced version, and then we'll pop the new ones back in here. Okay, so basically the 4 ROMs that I want to take up here are these 4 right here. You can see right on the side here it says IC 117, IC 118, and 133 and 132. So this is 132, 133, 17, and 118. Those are the 4 that you want that say EPR in them. Those are the bigger ones on 27C512s. And then this one here is 27C256, which is the OPR, which is for the sound. So all you have to do is you just slip a screwdriver in here. I usually just take it out nice and evenly, and I'm going to put it inside just this foam that I have here that I've used, and it keeps it nice and safe. It prevents them from bending. And then you want to take these 4 here, so you just pop them out like so. I'll put them on the foam there. So you don't have to take the whole board out just to upgrade to this kit. You know, you can if you want, but for me, they're on this side of the board. It's just really easy to take them out, and then you can pop in the other kit. Same goes for the memory test. If you see my other videos, I've done memory test ROMs where I just pop them in. It gives you extra stuff. So it's these 4. If you forget where they go, because there's others that are empty, Just they're parallel with these here, and they're also labeled, like I said, you know, 132, 133, 17, and 118. So 117. Just real quick, guys, I wanted to show you that this super capacitor here is the one I swapped out in the last video, where I was actually taking that board where I wanted to see, you know, if it worked. It was just one that I bought. So this one is actually the one I got untested, and it ended up working. And then I buttoned it up by putting in the capacitors all around, and also this here. This is the super capacitor. Mine has the original one on it. I'm going to switch mine probably in this video, but if you want to see how to do this one, if you're curious, you can click on this link right here, and you can see how I did it. But let's go ahead. We're going to take those ROMs, we're going to dump them, we're going to modify them, and then we're going to burn them to new EPROMs and stick them back in. So let's go ahead and move over to the technical part. Okay, so I have my GQ4X. This is a USB programmer. It's done everything that I've thrown at it. It's really great. It runs off of USB here, and then the other thing you can get for it is this adapter right over here. I just labeled mine, but it's a standard adapter. I think it's only like what, 9 volts? Yep, 9 volts, 1 amp. And it lets you burn stuff like additional things that require power, like for Galaxian boards or Galaga, or you know, things like that, just older ones, or Centipede. But this one doesn't require it, so I usually don't plug it in. If it gives me an issue, the worst that'll happen is that it'll say it can't burn it, then you have to just plug the power in and do that. But it is a little clunky, so I just try to just use the USB, and it works great. It's kind of like a little external drive here. So the first thing I'm going to do, like right here, you can see this is a 27C256. You can take them in and out just by doing that. You lift it like this, kind of, you'll see that's locking it in place. And you have to remember that even though pin 1 is on the top, you want to put the first legs on the actual bottom here and then go up. And it'll tell you that in the software as well, like you got to put it on the bottom. Some people think that pin 1 would be up here, and that's actually wrong if you do that. You want to put it down on the bottom and then go up. If it's a smaller chip, again, you always put it on the bottom. If it's longer, it'll be all the way up here. But then, you know, it's loose, so what you got to do is just lock it in place so it can't move, and then that'll let you either read it or program it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and set up my computer, and I'm going to have this on here as well, so you can kind of see what I'm doing as I do it, and hopefully you'll do like a picture-in-picture thing. That way it'll be nice and clear for you guys. Okay, so the first thing you want to do, I'm actually on my computer here. You can go to a browser, and you could actually Google, if you wanted to, Outrun Enhanced. And what you'll get is actually this one right here. The first one here is actually the incorrect one. It technically is the right one, but it's an older version. This is actually 1.03. If you go on the bottom, they have a 1.03 over here, and you can download that package, but that's an older package. So you can go to that and then click on Chris's blog over here. And this is the guy who did it with, I believe, Darren F. on the forums. Don't quote me because I'm not really positive, but they did some great work on here. And this is, you know, just the whole page, and then you click on Sega Enhanced, and then it gives you all that stuff. Or you can just use the link. I actually provided a link. Let me minimize this here. Oh, I just made a dump folder. There we go. So these are the steps. So basically you just download this. This is going to be in the link down below, so you don't have to worry about it. You can copy and paste. You can just take that and kind of just, if I were to close this here, pop that in there, and it goes straight to this page. The documentation, though, it's kind of ironic that if you click on the documentation, it goes back to that page because this is exactly how to do it. This has all the instructions, which, by the way, if you're wondering how to do miles per hour, if you type in miles per hour, do a search, you'll see that right here it says diff switch selectable miles per hour to kilometers per hour. You can choose which one, because actually the original Outrun only has kilometers per hour. An optional enhancement to display your speed in miles per hour rather than kilometers per hour. This feature can be enabled by setting dip switch B position 4. So that's the only place that it says it, so you got to be really careful. You have to dig for it, but that's what you do. So we're going to have to switch that to make it miles per hour, but it defaults to kilometers. So anyway, so that's where you find that. So it does have the instructions on how to do it. It also says over here, you can generate new ROMs. You're going to need the original ROMs. So we're actually going to dump the ROMs from our genuine ROMs that we have here that we just removed from the board. And once we save them and all, we're going to patch the files using that patch. There's a bspatch here. And basically the syntax right here is bspatch. You put the old file, the new file, and then the patch file that he includes, because he's not allowed to distribute the ROMs. But since we have the originals here, it shouldn't be an issue. We're just patching them. And so you can use bspatch, but also if you want, you can patch with RomInjector. And a RomInjector it requires Java. I don't suggest you install Java on your PC for long term. I installed it on mine because I'm just installing this, and then I basically uninstalled it when I was done. But I'll leave it installed, and I'll show you guys how to do that as well. What I'm going to do, unfortunately, this Java is a lot easier, but it only does these 4 files here. It does the EPR files. It doesn't do the sound file, which you have to do bspatch for. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do bspatch, how to do the syntax, where you have this right here, where you basically just select it using this and write a batch file for that. And then for these 4, instead of going through each one and doing all that, we're just going to use the Java one, which is almost instantaneous. So so then you can just download Java. So first step I would say is, while you're on this page, this is the older one. So again, you just go back to this page right here, where I leave the link for, or I left the link for, and then here you click on documentation. So you scroll down, go to Java, and you can download Java. I already did. I have it on the side, and I'll show you where it is. But anyway, let's leave it on that page for now. And by the way, you have to go back here where it says download here. So that's where you want to download the package. I already did it, but it's Sega Enhanced version 2.02. Just make sure it's a newer one when you download it. So I'm going to cancel that because I already have it. And again, if you click here, it goes back to that page with the documentation and instructions on how to do that. So I'm going to leave it on this page because I already have that. The second thing you want to download is bspatch. Now, bspatch, it's really, I guess it's an older file that's no longer on the web. So I kind of Googled and stuff and did my homework. And basically, the webarchive.org has the bspatch where you can download it. It's a Win32 application, which will work with Windows 10, 64-bit, and all that stuff. It just runs just fine. So you take this one right here. I'm going to copy it. And I'm actually going to go into my browser now. I'm going to go to a new tab, and I'm going to paste it in there. And when you do that, it downloads this bsdiff 4.2 win32.zip. So click OK to that. I'm going to hit cancel because I already have it. And then last but not least, let me make another tab here. You go to, you need bzip2 in order to get that to work. You have to have it all in the same directory. So you're going to go back here, go to this tab, paste that in there, hit enter. And it should, after it counts down for a few seconds, you'll see 3, 2, 1. It'll basically let you update it, download it, which is bzip2 105 bin.zip. So I'm going to cancel because I already have it. So I took those 3 files. So I'm going to take this, and then the enhanced edition. And I basically have it inside. And I'll have this right here. You don't have to worry about it. I'm going to put this in the description. So all you have to do is click on the link. So it should be a hyperlink there. So let me close this. And basically you can see here is my Java setup. You just double click it, install it. And then once it installs, you actually don't run the executable. You just kind of do a batch file, which uses Java because it knows it's in the background. And then these 2 links here are what I just showed you. You can just double click it, do that, and download each file. But I gave you the links, so you don't really need those 2. And then the actual ROMs are in here. So if you go to bspatch, you'll see different versions of the patch files. So these are the patch files. These aren't the ROMs themselves. If you try using these, they're not going to work because they're only like 1 kilobyte each and 22 for the OPR one, which is the sound. So you need to take these and actually use those to patch the ROMs themselves. So you have to provide the ROMs. He does not provide them again because, that would be not too legal because you need to own the product in order to use them. So you have to do that. So what we're going to do now is we're just going to dump the ROMs, and I just want to kind of show you like what you need. RomInjector, this is where you need everything. You have to run a batch file and do all that stuff. So I'll show you guys how to do that. And then there's an input file where you put all your ROMs where you're about to capture them, but I'm going to do them again so I can show you how to do it. And then you're going to do the other one. This is the out, which produces the final output. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to kill all these because I want to show you how to do it. Same thing over here. I'm going to kill all these because we'll just recreate new ones. And it actually has a little message in here. It says insert ROMs here. So that's where you got to drop the ROMs. So basically, if you're using RomInjector, you just got to put them in the in folder. If you're using the bspatch, you just have to have them inside the bspatch directory, which I have right here. It says bsdiff because it comes with bsdiff and bspatch when you download it. See, it says bsdiff. You're going to ignore that one, but bspatch is what you really need. And you can see I threw 2 files in here to kind of create a new one, the old one, and then the patch. So you have to throw all 3 in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kill all these and show you guys how to do it from scratch. And then I can take actually these 2. Well, I'll leave them in there. So that's exactly how it came. And I actually made an executable here. So what we're going to do is, let me go here. Actually, let me take this here. I'm going to edit that. I'm just going to grab this for the bspatch. So it'll be easier, and I'll just delete that one too, because we'll create that one from scratch. So let me go here. I'm going to go to the steps, and then I'm just going to type in bspatch command line. And then I'm going to just add that down there. And we'll save that. Okay. And let's see, the same thing I'm going to do for the, let me go up here, Sega Enhance, RomInjector, and there's also a batch file that I wrote for here. And we're going to take that, and we're also going to kill it. And I'll show you how to create that as well. And let me go back to that file that I had. And this is the RomInjector command lines, and I'll put that right there. Okay, so I'll include all this in the description. I'm making it on the fly so you guys can see how it works. Okay, so the first thing we're going to do, we're going to take this here. So this is the GQ4X. You can see it up here in picture. It's a nice programmer. I recommend it. I'll have a link in the description. It's really, I use it for everything. It works for like older games as well. Right now I just have it connected with the USB connector, but you can get a power adapter for it, which I have. I actually have it right here. And this is just a, it's a 1 amp adapter. It's 9 volts, and it just provides extra power when it needs it for the older games. So, but for the most part, I don't use it. If it fails to burn for whatever reason, then you have to use it, but it doesn't destroy the chip. You can just always erase it because they have the windows, and try again. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my software. So this is the software that comes with the GQ4X. It's by MCU Mall. And this is it right here. It's just checking and updating firmware. It just double checks everything. So I'm going to show you really quick. If I go to like, I don't know, a generic device like this one here, keep an eye on this part right here. That actually changes. Right now it says adapter needed. For some chips you'll need adapters. In this case we do not need an adapter. But I have a link in the description that comes with the adapters just in case you need it for other future projects, because there are some boards that do require the adapter where you just pop it in, and it's always good to have that. But most of the stuff that I work on does not have the adapter, so you technically don't need it, but when you least expect it is when you really need it. So I'm going to leave a link to that. But anyway, let me go back to here. So we're going to type in, we're going to start actually with the, let's see, we're going to start with the OPR ROM, which is smaller. This is a mask ROM. It's 10188. It goes in IC71. I'm actually going to pop that in here. And when you pop it in there, you'll see, I'll show you real quick when you type it in. So you're going to type in, let's see, 27C256, because it's a smaller version of the chip. And you can basically click right there. It's going to have the B. If you type B, it should do it no problem, because that's usually the one that I use, which is ST. So right now it's just double checking everything. Right now it says, okay, I've loaded 27C256B, and you'll see the diagram change. It says, okay, insert it this way. Pin 1 would be where red is, so pin 7 is going to be on pin 1, so right here. So you're going to have this on the bottom and that on the top with the notch on the top. So don't make the mistake of putting it up here thinking that's pin 1. It's not going to work, and it could destroy your chip. So you're going to put it on the bottom as down as you can, and you put the legs right into there. And then you just lock it into place by putting it down, and then it won't move. So now all you have to do is hit read, and it's actually reading the EPROM or the mask ROM, because these are non-programmable. These are the ones that Sega came up with. And it says read completed. Then you want to hit save. And right now it's going to this dump folder that I have on the side where I'm dumping all the files. And it defaults to bin. You can leave it like that if you want, but if you do that, it's going to end with the bin, I guess the ending of it, the file type. You don't want to do that. You want to actually have it end with nothing. So just click on all files. And now you're going to type in, and it's very case sensitive, so make sure you type it in exactly, because the actual program looks for this when it's doing it, when it's trying to compile it. So you want to make it OPR-10188.71, because IC71 is the location where it's at. So OPR-10188.71. So you're going to hit save, and if you look in the folder here, we'll double check. It saved it with the 71 ending here. If you set it for example, if you try, oh, it's actually not going to let me till I dump another one. But if you try doing bin, it's actually going to put it on there with, it's going to say 71.bin, which is what you don't want, and then it won't match up. So just make sure you click all files when you're saving it. So now I can take this one out. It's all done. And the next one I'm going to do, I actually have them in here, and I just took it out and put it back in. But I'm going to take this out, and I'm going to pop this one in here. Now this one is a little bigger. These are the 512 chips. It actually says it written on the chip here. So what you want to do is try to match it as much as possible. So let's see, it's M27C. Okay, so you want to take the device, click on that. So we're going to type in M27C512. And you see it right here, M27C512, double click it. It's double checking everything to make sure it's okay. And it shows you, okay, you need to put it in that way. So I have the notch going up, so it's all set. So now I can just click on read. I mean, if you have access to MAME, I guess you can unzip the MAME file and use those, revision B. But since you have the original board, it's actually, for me, it's easier to do this because it's only 5 chips. I don't have to worry about grabbing it. I own the thing, so it's fine. So that's been captured. Now I'm going to just hit save. I'm going to make sure again that it says all files. And this time I'm going to type in exactly what it says here. It's all case sensitive. So EPR-10380B.133. And then you hit save, and it saves it again. If you look it over here, it saves it with those extensions. So that's exactly what you needed to do. So now I can take this one out, pop it on here, and then take the next one out, put that on there, lock it in place. It's already set for that device, so I don't have to change it. It's the same size chip. The only one that's different, the 256 one, was the OPR one. So all the EPRs are 27C512, so you can leave it that way. So now I want to hit read. Now you want to hit save, and you're going to go all files again, and then you can do EPR-10381 B as in boy .132. So you hit save, and it saves it. Great, that one's done. Now we'll get the third one of those same types, 10382. So we're going to hit read again. If for some reason it fails to read, that means you have a bad EPROM, most likely. Just double check that you put everything in correctly. Okay, you're going to select all files. Again, EPR-10382B.118. So hit save. Okay, that one's done. I can pop that back in. I'm just pushing them in here. Now I'm turning this around, and the other one here is 10383. I'll put that in there, make sure it's locked. Notch is on the top. I'm going to hit read. Okay, and now we're going to do save all files, and you're going to make it go EPR-10383 .117. Save. Okay, so now that's all done. We can actually close this. I'm going to open up this one, and now we have all 5 files. And if you look at the sizes over here on the right, it actually says these are 64 kilobytes and this one's 32 kilobytes. So these 4 actually go on 512 chips, and this one here goes on 256 chips, and that's the OPR one. So this OPR, technically it's optional. It just fixed the distortion in the music. It's like a bug that happens every now and then. But I would suggest you do it, but you don't have to. If you want just the enhanced ROMs and you don't want to compile this, if you're really like, I don't want to type in command lines and batch files, you can just go with this one and you'll be fine. And you can just burn these with that Java program. But if you try burning all 5 of them, only 4 will output. It's not going to do that last one for some reason. Not sure why they did that, but whatever. You have to just manually do this last one. So I'm going to show you how to do the manual one first, which isn't really too bad. And then instead of doing the rest manually, we're just going to throw all 4 of these into that program, and it'll do exactly what I said. So, okay, so let's go there. First thing you want to do, I'm going to go here. You want to download it, go into the Sega Enhanced version 202, and go to RomInjector. That's this one right here. We're actually going to do the Java one first. It's just a little easier so you can understand the whole process. So this out folder is actually not going to exist. I'm going to delete it. So there should be an in folder, and in this folder it's going to say insert ROMs here. So you're going to take your dump ROMs, which I have right there, and I'm going to throw all of them in there, even though it won't do the OPR. I just want to show you that it doesn't do it. So you throw them all in there. Oops, actually I meant to copy them over. Yeah, I'll just copy them back. There we go. So you want to copy those files over there. And now what you want to do is you can go into, there's a RomInjector folder. Okay, so you'll see these 2 files here. It says RomInjector class and Java. Those are the 2 things that just need to be in this folder. It's already in there, so you don't have to worry about it. And then these are all the patches where it tells it what to do. If you were to open one of these, it kind of goes through exactly what it needs to do, and it patches everything, and it takes the file, and it kind of replaces everything, and injects them where they need to go in these addresses. It's really complex. You don't have to worry about it. It's all set for you. He provides it that way, depending on what version you have. You have Outrun, you have Outrun DX, and so on. It also does Super Hang-On and Space Harrier. So, you know, just a heads up that it does do other games. But we are using this right here. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to right click, you're going to hit new. We're going to create a batch file here. So the easiest way to do that is just make a text document and just type in run, and then change this part right here to say bat, B-A-T. So we're creating a batch file. Hit enter. It says, are you sure you want to change it? Because we're changing it from text to batch. You say yes. And you'll see the icon changes. If you were to double click that, nothing would happen because it's empty. So you just want to right click on it, click edit, and then it's blank inside. So inside this file is how you're going to do the commands. So I have this, again, I'm going to provide this in the description, but actually that's the wrong one. Is it this one? Yeah. So if you go to steps.txt, see I put it down here. So this is for RomInjector. You're going to just type in this command right here, the one I highlighted, and you're going to paste it in here. So, okay, let me close this one now. And click on edit. Okay, so I'm in there, I'm pasting it in there. So you're just going to type echo off, Java is just enabling Java, and then you're running RomInjector, which is a Java program, and then outrun underscore patch.txt is the file that I just showed you right here, where it has all that complex stuff in there. So you're just telling it basically, you know, use this file, use these parameters with RomInjector using Java. And then pause is just so you can know everything happens. This is really important that you have that in there, because you cannot have that and then it'll execute and you don't know if it worked or not. So with pause, you can see all the syntax so you can figure out what happens. So let me go here and I'm going to hit save. So now all you have to do, here's the in file, right? So you have these 5 files. It's actually only going to do these first 4. It's not going to do that last one. So I'll show you right now. Even though you have it in there, if you double click run.bat, it says cannot open EPR 103.83b.117. Now there's a problem with that one. So we're just going to double check. our work here. Oh, I know why, because I forgot to put B here when I typed in the file name. So I'm going to add that real quick. So it's really case sensitive and everything, and file sensitive. So it's really important you do it this way. So there it is, it's fine. Okay, so that's why you have pause. See how it paused? So I know, that's happening. If you don't have that, it's just going to do it and you're going to think everything's fine. So anyway, hit any key to continue. Let's try it again. So we're going to go right here, RomInjector, and it halts, by the way. If there's an error, it won't make that other directory that says out. So anyway, double click it. Okay, it says reading ROM information, verifying ROMs, read and patch data, write checksums, and write ROMs. So this is all verified. It actually looks at all the checksums and stuff to make sure that the ROMs are correct that you just dumped. It takes the patch files, it writes everything together, and puts it in a new ROM folder. So you hit any key to continue. That means it was successful if you see that message. Now you see another directory here. It says out. So when you double click on out, magic. These are the patched ROMs right here. So they're based on your original ROMs that you had on the in folder. It took the patch, it injected it, and you have 4 brand new files. These are all 64 kilobytes in size. Those go on 27C 512 EPROMs or EPROMs. And then what you have to do is that last one, even though it was in there, this OPR, it didn't work because it just won't do it. So I'm going to take this file here, I'm going to copy it, and I'm just going to move it somewhere else. So what you have to do now is you're going to download those things that I asked you to do earlier. There's a bsdiff and the bzip2. So I'm going to go into this bsdiff folder. It's going to have the bspatch. That's the program that you need. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to move my ROM over here because they all have to be in the same directory. So that's going to be the OPR ROM. And I need the patch ROM in there too. So I'm going to go back to Sega Enhanced. I'm going to go to my bspatch folder. I'm going to go to Outrun, and I'm going to grab this one right here, which is the patch file, which is 22 kilobytes for this 101.88.71. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go back to Enhanced ROMs, and I'm going to go back to the diff folder, which the bspatch is in, and I'm going to paste it in there. So now you have the original ROM, that's the old ROM, you have the patch, and then basically it's going to take those and make a new file. So you just have to do a syntax, and the syntax to do that, oh, by the way, I almost forgot, wow. You need to take the bzip2, that has to be in there in order to compress it. So you're going to go to the bin file here, and you're going to see all the files. You're going to grab bzip2 and bzip2.dll. So you're going to just highlight both, copy them, and you're going to go back to here, go back into your bsdiff folder where the ROMs are that you want to patch, and you want to paste those in there. So you have to have those in there or else it won't work. And obviously you don't want to double click this because it won't do anything, so you have to write a batch file using this command line. I'm going to go back to this folder. The command line here, where did I see it here? We'll need the following. Okay, so this is it right here. That's the syntax. It's bspatch, old file, new file, and patch file. So I'm just going to write a little program to do that. I've already done it, so if you just want to copy mine, you can. You're just going to right click here, hit new, and then you're going to go to text document, and you're going to type in, I'm going to name it run, and then BAT for batch. You hit yes, and it now becomes a run bat file. And then I'm going to take my folder that I had here, the steps, which I have in the description, and it's going to say bspatch command lines, right? You're just going to take this little portion here, copy it, and you're going to right click on run.bat, hit edit, it's blank, and you're going to paste it in there. And you can leave this that way if you want, because if you name the folders, if you name the files exactly like I just showed you, you can just leave it this way. So basically it's taking OPR 101.88.71, which is your old file, the one you just ripped, and you dumped from your original ROM. You're going to take this one here, the new OPR, that's what I'm naming my new one, and then this is the patch that's in that folder, 101.78, it's the patch version. So you can take that, you save it, and now it becomes a batch file. So now you'll see here, it says OPR, there's the patch, and then when you run this, it's going to create a new file, and it's also going to be 32 kilobytes. It's going to say new OPR. So I'm going to double click it. So press any key, that means it was successful. So if you look here, there's new OPR, OPR, and patch. So this is the file that you need. That's the new version of it. So I'm going to take that. I'm going to actually copy that. And I'm going to throw it to my Sega and Enhanced RomInjector folder out. And I'm just going to paste it right here. And that's it. So these are all the files that you need right there. So let me go ahead. I'm going to grab some ROMs, some EPROMs that I have here that are blank. And we're going to go ahead and burn these, and then we can stick them in the board. And I'm going to show you exactly what I do when I burn them and how I label them and stuff like that. Okay, so before I did anything, I just wanted to show you what I use. This is actually the, I have a Brother labeler. You can use any labeler you want. And it's really easy to use. You just click on it. Like right now, I wrote OPR 1018.71 OR enhanced, and then you just hit print, and it comes out the side, and you chop it off and stuff. And it's really easy to use. This is like $20-something, maybe like 20 on sale, and you can get it for like 24 or whatever. And I use the, there's two different inks. I use the one with the black with the white lettering, and they kind of come out like this. I'll show you. You can also use the white ones like this with the black lettering. But you know, I want it to be a little discreet on the board. So this is how they come out. They look really good, you know. So I'm going to use those, and I'm going to put them on this way. And I also want to put them, the notch is going to be facing up. I actually want to start putting them on from left to right this way, so that when I put them in the board, they're all not upside down. I've done the mistake in the past where I put them the other way, and it'll be upside down on the board. It's not a big deal, just, you know, aesthetics, I guess. So let me go ahead and grab these. I have these EPROMs here, and you know, I'm super neat, so I label everything. Again, this is how it looks with the white with the black text, but I'm using ST brand. I love these. There's a guy on eBay that sells them. I guess I'll put him in the description too, but he's like, all the stuff he's given me, it comes right from China. It takes a little while to get here, but they've never been fake. They've always been great. And their quality, like, they almost look like brand new. So ST is the best brand that I love. Same thing with these. These are just ST M27C512s, and this one is ST M27C256B, actually. I should have put a B on there, but the actual chips say B on them. And these are just extras in case I need them. So what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to put these, I'm going to take a couple of these out. And you know what, let's start with, we're going to start with this first. It's the 256. We only need one. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And you can check, they usually come erased as well. Not all people do that, but this guy that I'm talking about does. So I'm just double checking, I'm looking at it, M27C256B. And if you look really closely, I'm actually going to put it in front of the camera here. Let's see if I can focus. Yeah, you see how I can see it? M27C256B, and it's by ST. So that's all you have to do to enter it. You want to always try to get the manufacturer when you're entering it on, you know, in the programmer. So I'm going to put it in there. I'm going to lock it down, and that's 256, which is a smaller chip. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up. And don't forget, we had it. It actually defaults to the last one you opened. So we opened 512. So I'm just going to make sure. Yeah, see, it says 27C512. I'm going to right-click and clear, just so you won't get confused. And now we'll click on Device, and I'm going to type in M27C256. And if you look down here, it's going to say manufacturer and stuff. You can actually click on different ones. Like here, if I click on that thinking it's the one I have, it actually says manufacturer AMD. You want to make sure that it says what you have. So in this case, I'm doing M27C256B, and you see it says ST. You could also go here down to ST if you wanted to, select it that way. But for me, you know, it's easier just to have all of them selected. I just hit that, I hit enter. Oops, actually I'm not sure if I did that right. Let me double check. Yeah, I did select it. So it's M27C256B. Again, if you want to double check, just go to Device, and you go M27C256B. And you'll see it right there. You double click it, and it opens it up. So you'll see it pop up right here. Okay, so then always pay attention again to this. The notch is going up. You put it from the bottom going up. So I put that in correctly right here. Okay, so after you select it here, you're going to select Open. Right now it's defaulting to that folder there. I want it to default to Outrun Enhanced ROMs. So you can see all the folders that we made, and then we want to go into where we saved it. So we want to go to Sega Enhanced 2, we're going to go to RomInjector, and we want to go to the Out folder. That's the output folder that we have. And you'll see it defaults to whatever was last used. I want to actually go to this and select all files so that they all appear here. So you got to do that for every one. It just defaults that way. And here it is. It says new OPR. That's the one I want to do. So I'm going to double click it. It's going to say, okay, what do you want to do? File format. You're just going to leave everything default. So don't worry. It's going to start at 0 for the file offset, normal, normal, and binary. So click OK. Right now it's loaded. So if you go over here, you can see all the data is loaded in here. It's really cool. So I'm going to go ahead and show you something else. I'm actually going to load it again. But before you do that, I like clicking on buffer. And I like hitting read. And when you hit read, you're going to see everything's going to turn into Fs. You see that? That means it's a blank. It's totally blank. It sets the whole thing to Fs. So I always like to hit read first. And then when I hit load, it kind of puts it in there. So now I'm going to click load. There it is, 71 new OPR. You double click it, and you saw how everything changed? That's how I know it's loaded in there. So I like to make it blank first and then load it in there so I can actually see the data in there. And then of course you want to hit blank check, and what that does is it's checking the blank EPROM here to make sure it's good to go. Looks like it's good, and now you want to hit write. So it's writing the thing. I like to not check double write because sometimes you'll get problems with that. So I like to just have write and verify. So it's writing it and now it's verifying it. What it does is it compares it to the buffer, and it looks like everything passed. If you click on the message log over here, it says device is verified, all set. You can click it again. I usually click it like once more, verify, and that's it. So it's good to go. So now that we know it's good, I'm going to take this label that I made and I'm going to put it on. You definitely want to, cover this window here because that's how you erase them. You put UV light on there. So you just put it over here. I just kind of just line it up as best you can. And that's it. It's covered. This one's ready to go. If you look at it, it says OPR 101.88.71 OR enhanced. And also, when you get them new, they're a little, I don't know if you could see that, they're a little spaced, a little open. Let's see if I can show you a little closer. But you see how they're open? It's like almost like the legs are apart. You have to kind of bend them inwards a little bit to fit in the board. So what I do is I usually just use this thing itself, and I kind of bend it a little bit. I'll bend all the legs at once, kind of towards it, and now they're more straight. Let me just do this side a little more. And that's it. It's going to be perfect. It's ready to go. So I'm going to do the next one now. So now I can close this up. I don't need these anymore. These are the 256s. That's the only one that should be 256 is that OPR one. So now let's go ahead and open this other one. These are the 512s. And let me just have this come out. It's just a little stuck. There's like a piece of plastic blocking it. There we go. So I'm taking one out. And again, these say, I'll hold these up as well. See if it'll focus here. Come on. There we go. So it's M27C 512 by ST. So again, these are pre-erased. So you do that, pop it in there, and then don't forget you got to change the device. So you're going to click on this. You're going to type in M27C 512. And it's right here. Again, if you select AM by mistake or FM, see it says AMD, that's not what you want. FM is Fairchild. You want to select this one right here, which is ST. You're trying to match them as best as you can. If for some reason you don't find yours in there, you can just go to generic and it'll work. So, but you always want to be specific with the manufacturer first if you can. So I'm going to double click that. It'll load, it says configuration OK. I'm going to go to buffer. I'm going to hit read. So it's my little safety thing that I do. I like to read it, make sure it's blank. It's good to go. You can even do if you want a blank check while you're at it. So it looks like this is ready to go. And you want to now load that file that you just made. So you hit load, and then you want to go to all files, and you'll see them all pop up. So I'm going to start with 10380B. You leave it to default, hit OK, and see how it changed? That means all the stuff is loaded in. That means it's ready to go. And the reason it's important for me to do that is because I have in the past hit read by mistake, and it reads it blank, and then I've burned blank disks, so you're literally firing blanks. And it's terrible. Your game board doesn't work. You're like, what the heck is going on? It's because it's not loaded. So I always make sure I see it here before anything. Now I'm going to hit write, and it's going to write to it. These take a little bit longer because they're literally double the size. Okay, now it's verifying it. Okay, looks like it was good. If you click on message log, the little tab up here, it says device is verified, so it's good to go. I always hit verify one more time. Can't hurt. And there you go. So now I'm just going to go on here, cover this up with a nice label, and that's it. So now you have this one that's done. I'm going to bend the legs again so it'll fit nice and neat, and that's pretty much good to go. So now that's in there. I'm going to go to buffer, and you're going to hit read, and it's going to turn blank with the F's. So that means it's a blank chip that you're putting in there. I'm going to double check blank check. And now I'm going to load the file that I need. So I'm going to open. I'm going to select all files again. So I did 133, now I'm going to do 132. I'm going to hit OK. You saw it changed. That means it's all in there. I'm going to hit write. And I'm doing this all in real time so you can see how long it takes. You know, I'm not speeding it up or anything. This is all in real time that it's burning it to. Okay, now it's verifying it. Okay. Now I'm going to click on message log. It's verified. I'm going to click again. And that's 132. So I'm just going to put this on there. Cover it up, and there you go. That one's done. I'm going to take it out, bend the legs a little bit, and now it's ready to go. So now the next one, make sure the notch is up, it's locked into place, and I'm going to go ahead and click on buffer, and I can see all this stuff here, and I'm going to hit read. It should disappear. There we go. Blank check. Okay, looks like it's good. I'm going to hit load. And this one should be the next one down, which is 118. Set everything default. You see the data popped in. That's great. I'm going to hit write. Okay, now it's verifying. And now we're going to click on message log. It's good to go. I'm going to click verify one more time. And now that it's good to go, I'm going to put the sticker on. Yep, good to go. We'll stick it over there. Excellent. So that's 118. Again, I'm going to take it, bend it ahead of time. Okay. And now the last one. See if I can get out of here. Need a pen to get it out. There we go. Okay. Stick that in there with the notch going up. I'm going to go back to buffer, hit read, blanks it out, that's good. We'll do a quick blank check here. And now we're going to go to read. I'm sorry, not read. We're going to actually load the file. Okay. So we're going to go to all. And this one is the last one, which is 117. So when I double click it, you'll see it change here. Okay, bam, here's the data. Awesome. So now we're going to hit write. And then we'll verify it and we'll throw that last sticker on here. So you could put, if you don't have this fancy sticker stuff, you could always put, you know, like electrical tape, black tape or something over it. You know, as long as you cover them up, you don't have to, but because it's going to be in a dark cabinet, but I always do it. It's better safe than sorry. You don't want them like, you know, you open this up, you know, in your garage or something and it gets light and you forget about it. You go inside and then it's erased. So you always want to cover up this little window if you can, and it looks nice and neat. There you go. So that's it. I want to just double check that, put it in there. Okay, so that's it. So I'm going to line up everything so you can see. 132, 133. So these are all the chips. You have the OPR and then the EPR. So this is a smaller one for the sound, and these are the ones on the top. So we're going to go ahead and put those in. Now that we're done with this, we can close the program. And yeah, we'll just kind of pop them in and see if this thing works. All right, guys, so I have everything set here, and I'm just going to pop them in. Just let me get in front of the camera here for a minute. And I'll kind of get this out of the way here so I can put it in. But basically, I'm going to start with the OPR one. That's the one that's down here. And you're just going to make sure all the notches, as you notice, are facing that way. So that's how you want this one to go in there. And it's also labeled on these little, you can see there's one right there and one right there. So on the right side, it'll say what it is. So it'll say IC71. And on here, it says 101.88.71. So that's how you know it goes in there. So when you put it in, you just want to make sure that everything is, you know, lined up okay. I want to make sure that nothing is popping out. And that looks good. So I'm going to go ahead and press it down and it pops right in. So while I'm at it here, I'm actually, before I finish putting the rest in, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these out. I had put like a makeshift little tabs on the two bottoms, but I actually found the mounts that I need. So let me go ahead and get my screwdriver and I'll be right back. All right, so I found my mounts. These are the ones that I'm going to kind of hold it up to the camera here. I don't know if you can see that, but these are the mounts that that it's supposed to have. I had these other makeshift ones on here just so it wouldn't contact anything, and they worked really well. But you know, when he's going to be moving and stuff, I don't want it to be flopping around. These aren't actually in there properly. So if you haven't checked it out, this actual arcade is actually going to Bob from Retro RGB. He has a YouTube channel. I suggest you guys check it out. You can see right here. Really cool guy, and he knows his stuff, and he's really into the RGB scene, and he does great work. A lot of hard work in this YouTube stuff. So let's see. There we go. Come on, you can get in there. All right, let's see if it'll work now. I might have to loosen up the ones on top. There we go. There we go. Nice and snug, like it was meant to be. I'm gonna take this one out here. It's the wrong way. Come on. There we go. So I had these little legs instead, which you know, prevented it from touching it. It was the exact length it needed to be, but it wasn't really the ones meant to be in there. So, here it is. Let me just get in front of the camera for a second. As I put these in. Let's see if I can go on this angle. Oh, it looks like it fell out. Yeah, it's always better doing things the right way, you know. I'm all for that. And this was kind of a temporary thing to see if it worked. I had it in there and I couldn't find them, and I found them when I was doing this video. So I said I might as well put them in there. Excellent. Now this thing is like rock solid. It's not going anywhere. Great. All right, so let's throw the rest in there. So if you look over here, it's going to say what the ICs are. So it says IC118. This one says IC117. That's 133 and 132. So I'm going to put in 133 first. Let's see, that's this one here. And again, I'm facing the notch to the right. This one here is on the right as well. And that's why I put the writing on this way. That's what I was talking about. If you put the sticker backwards, it's going to be upside down when you put the thing in there. Not a big deal, but it just doesn't look as neat. So now I'm just going to press firmly. Okay, that one's in there, nice and snug. 132 goes right here. Again, see how easy it lines up because I bent the pins to be straight. Let's see, this one is 118. So let's go here. Okay. And 117 is the last one with all the notches. I'm going to double check before I turn it on. Okay. So it's 132, yep, 133, 117, and 118. That all matches up. 132, yep. And then the notches are all facing to the right. And then this one here is facing to the right, and that's 71. So it looks like it's good to go. So I'm going to go ahead and close this up. I'm going to turn it around. I'm going to actually I think I'm going to lock the door. I'm pretty confident that that's all set and ready to go. Oh, you know what? I won't, because I have to make the dip switches. We'll mess with that later. So let me go ahead. I'm going to show you guys. We'll go to the front of the machine. We'll make sure it all boots up correctly and that it's all set correct. All right, so I'm actually in the back of the machine. I'm going to go ahead and plug it in, and then we'll see what happens. Okay, it's on. Everything looks good on the power here. I see the power light on. It'll take a while for the monitor to warm up. And there you go. So that's the enhanced ROMs installed. You can see it's definitely working because right now it's in free play. I'm going to kind of move up a little bit. And you'll see it's in a track mode. So once the monitor warms up a little bit, you'll see it'll look really nice. This monitor is great. I mean, I wish I should have kept it. It's just such a good monitor, you know, especially now that I bulletproofed it. But you know, I have other monitors too, and Bob's a really good guy, like I said. So he's getting a great monitor and a great deal with this. So yeah, it's set to free play. What I'm going to do, actually, let me just move this over. I'm going to see if I can get this a little bit. I'm trying to get a good angle so I'll be able to play at the same time. So before anything, let me go ahead and go to test switch mode. We'll go to dip switch settings. And it looks like, let me see here. Yeah, you can see it's set for upright cockpit, but the advertised sound is off. Timing system is original. Again, you can just move the gear for fixed or original. I'm going to go to fixed. And then game difficulty, it's normal. And it's set for free play. So I think we're good. I don't think there's anything else we need to do. Oh, miles per hour. You can see here, dip switch B is set to the off position. You see that? That's the one that's not used. So I have to switch that back. I'll do it in a second. What I'll do is I'll go into the game and you can see the miles per hour. And before we do that too, we're going to go to the sound test. And I'm going to go to, you can see right there, it's the enhanced ROM. I'm just going to keep going. There's voice 2, voice 3. Voice 4 is missing because there's nothing there anyway. And he just moved everything down. So now you have music 4 as an option. Awesome. Okay. Now let's get out of here. We'll go back to exit. And, oops, I went a little bit too far. Okay, so now it's going to go in the game, and it says Enhanced Edition if you saw that there. All right, let's go to free play. You can see the button here is now lit up. Can you see that? It's flashing. And you can hear the music. So that's the proper music that it's supposed to be. So if I go left, Magical Sound Shower, Passing Breeze. So now it plays it like it should. It didn't before. So I'm going to go to that one. You'll see it says kilometers per hour. You can see it right down there. Let's see if I can get a better view of that. All right, so it looks good to me. But again, that's kilometers per hour. So I'm going to leave it there. I'll zoom in on there for you. And I'll just leave it right there. So I'll go ahead. You're not going to be able to see what I'm doing here. But I'm going to go to the diff switch menu. And you can actually do this while it's on. Here, let me go back to it and you'll see. So let's see, where is it? Right up here, you'll see. And that flickering is just because, you know, it's the refresh rate of the camera. So B should be, right now it's off. I'm going to set it to on. I'm going to go in the back here. And diff switch B, and there's A. Yep, that was the right one. You can see it just changed to on, which is right there. I'm pointing with my screwdriver. Miles per hour. So we'll leave it like that. And, you know, the new owner, if they want, they could flick it back. But I like it to be miles per hour. It's pretty cool. And we'll give it a quick test. Let me just go up. Yep. Awesome. All right, so this machine pretty much is done. I'm gonna actually zoom out here, and great. So now it's gonna go to its new owner, hopefully soon. I'm gonna store it for him in the meantime until he can get to it. But this one is pretty much done. We fixed the button on it. We did the marquee. You know, we did everything. Even down there, we cleaned it up. So this thing is pretty much ready to go with the enhanced ROM set. So that's how you burn ROMs. So this next part is probably gonna be just bonus footage. I'm actually gonna take mine, work on my machine, take mine out, and resolder the super capacitor on there, the one you just saw. And I'll show you how to do that if you missed it in another episode, just to make this one complete. And then I even have a bonus that you'll see, so stick around. I have a little surprise at the end for you guys. Okay, here we go. Okay guys, so I have my board here. This is actually my Outrun. You know, it looks a little different. I have the old white labels because that's when I first did it. And they're actually on upside down, believe it or not, and I learned the hard way. So if you look at it, the board actually goes this way. The capacitor should be towards the bottom of, if you're looking at it, if it's mounted. And, you know, everything here is, you know, I like labeling them the other way, even though technically this is the right way because everything's labeled this way for the RAM and all that stuff. But anyway, so this is what we're going to take out. So I'm going to actually turn it towards me. And the first thing you got to do really is you have to separate the boards because you have to be able to get underneath right over here in order to get to that. So let's quickly just do that. And there we go. And this board here we don't need. So I'm going to lay it to the side. I'm not sure if I'm going to cap it today. Not really sure. I'll probably do that off camera actually. But this here is the thing we want to take out. So I'm going to flip it over. I have my Hako already warmed up. I'm using the FR300. This thing is awesome. It actually just desolders everything. So, and it takes it out nice and clean. So these are the two capacitors right here. You can see it's on the other side. So I'm just going to go ahead and basically just heat it up. Take it out. And I think that's it. I think we're good to go at that point. Let's see, I'll put it back in. Let me grab it. And we'll kind of take this and wiggle it out. And there it goes. So you want to take note of what it's set to. I know the new capacitor, wow, this is really dusty. The negative is actually this stripe here, but on the new one, I think it might be positive. I'm not really sure. But anyway, it's labeled down here. It says positive right here on the board and negative on the other side. So So we're going to take this out. There's nothing wrong with this. You can actually save it if you want, but if you look at it, it's 5.5 volts and 0.10 F. And on the new one, I actually have the part number here. So let's see, the manufacturer number is EEC, that's Edward Charlie dash F5R5U105. And it's just the, it's the opposite of the other one where it just holds more stuff. It'll fit there, no problem. So I'm gonna open it up. I have a couple of these. I'm pretty well stocked on these because I have, a few boards I still gotta work on, and I still gotta get to repairing those other ones that you saw in the really early videos, but these are them. I'm gonna put the other one back here. I have about 3 left. And I'll keep this inside here with the part number. And this one, if I were to look at it, it's 1.0 F, and it's 5.5 volts as well. So it's the same exact voltage. This is a really good brand. This is Panasonic. There's other ones that you can get out there that aren't as good, but this one here is a really, it's pretty reliable. It'll last a long time. So on this one, it says negative on here, so that's the part that's gonna go facing that way, and then the positive will be over here. So the only thing you really got to worry about is this little resistor right here, and it can bend a little bit to the right. You may have to, desolder it a little bit so that it'll fit there, but I really didn't have a problem last time on my last board that I did. So I'm just putting that in there. You see how like it kind of is in the way there? So what I did was I just kind of pressed down and it was fine. It still fits in there. I really prefer if it's out of the way, so what I may do is I may heat it up and move it over. So let me try doing that now. So let me just place that one right there. Yeah, it's this one right here. I believe it is. Yeah. I'm just gonna heat that up. Move it over a little bit. Okay, that should do it. Let's see, I'm gonna try to put it in now. All right, so it's falling out right now because I'm not holding it in, but I'm gonna take some solder. I'm just gonna tin this a little bit. Tin my little tip, and you can see the smoke going across. I have the fan there. It's really important that you ventilate, guys. You don't wanna be breathing in this stuff. It'll have long-term effects. So I'm holding it in with my pinky there, actually. And I'm gonna see if I can grab it. All right, once one side is in there, the other side should be pretty easy to do. Okay, that's one side. I'm just gonna redo the other side to make sure everything's good to go. And that's it. Yep. So that's all set. I have the extra capacitor. I probably lost my save games because it was stored on that thing, and I had to remove it. So it is on the right way. I'm just double checking, positive that way, negative this way. I'm really tempted to do the caps again. The caps are just such a pain last time. You know what? Let me go ahead. I think I'm going to do the caps off camera, and then I'm going to pop this back in. We'll see if it works. So yeah, so I'll be right back. And now we can go ahead and put the other one on top. So you just want to make sure they're lined up. And excellent. And then I want to put these on there. So since it's going to go in this way, I'm going to put it on. But before we put this in there, I'm pretty sure it's going to work. You guys already know it's going to work. I am going to do something else. I have another board that's untested that we're going to test together. I actually got it in the mail, got a great deal. You know, I look at eBay periodically, and if I see if there's something that's untested, it's usually because people don't have, Outrun is very common for people not to test it because it's not typical JAMA. You can't just stick it in any machine and test it. So they'll sell it as untested. So for now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put this board to the side, and we'll grab one and put a new one that I have gotten from eBay. So we'll open it together. So stay tuned. All right, guys, so here it is. Boom, another package. I have my unboxing knife, my Donkey Kong unboxing knife. It's pretty awesome. I got this a long time ago on eBay. Can't tell you where I got it, to be honest. But it's really sharp, works well for unboxing stuff, and I figured anytime I do something on the channel, I can use this knife. Kind of fits the theme, right? All right, so I can close this back up. But it's really cool, Donkey Kong. And let me open it up here. I'll just turn it sideways here. And wow, it looks like they packed it okay. Sometimes they pack this thing really bad. Hopefully it's in one piece, you know. I got this a while ago, about a month ago, and it just sat on the side. Okay. I'm putting that to the side. So here's the thing. I think they did an okay job. You know, none of the connectors seem broken. There is a scratch here though. I don't know if you could see that. I'll hold it up to be easier, but if you could focus, come on. I'm actually looking right there where there's kind of like a scratch on the edge there. But you know, it doesn't look like it's cut through or anything. Some of the EPROMs are showing a little bit. So that may be bad or could be erased. I'm not really sure. I'll have to look at this. Looks a little scratched up. It looks like to me that they had other boards on top of this and they just kind of taken it out of the pile. So that's what that looks like. It looks like just stuff scratched it up. But because of that, it protected the rest, and this can be replaced pretty easy. Same thing over here. These are a little scratched up. You know, you can see at that angle, right there especially. The caps, it looks like some were replaced already. They're in the correct orientation. This one probably could use a new one. Same thing over here. Could use a super capacitor. I mean, you know, I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop it in the machine. Oh, it's cool. They put it in between as well. All right, that's good. Let me see if I can take this apart real quick. Give it another inspection. There's one board, there's the other. And this one looks okay. None of the caps are broken. I'm just kind of checking out over here. They're sticking up pretty far. That cap looks okay. You know, just double checking their orientation and stuff. You know, they could probably be swapped. I'll probably swap them, like I said, once I know it works. And then what's important to me is these right here. These are the mask ROMs. And you can't get replacements. There's a guy actually that doubles them up, where he splits them up, and then he has a custom, I think it's this chip right here where it's custom, where it tells it to go on both of these instead of just one. And he can just burn them on normal 512 EPROMs. But you know, I have to get a hold of them because I'm going to talk to them. I'm going to see if I can get a hold of them just so I can repair more boards, because some of these on mine are toast and I'll have to repair them with, you know, there's still ways of repairing them, but I'm not even sure that they're good. So yeah, so we'll do that in a future video, I'm sure. This LED looks a little bit bent, so I'm going to carefully bend it up. But other than that, it looks clean. Underneath, sometimes you'll see traces repaired. This one looks okay. It looks like this was reflowed. There's still like, I don't know if that was done on factory. But I'll, you know, if I have any issues, I just got to look at that, because it's very possible that they joined two things by mistake together. Yeah, but it looks good. And as far as this one, let's look at it here. This one looks okay. It's just a little dirty. I might maybe polish it up with some alcohol, but I think it's all right. All the caps look good. They're in the right way. That one looks like it was reflowed or resoldered or replaced. Just checking that one too. And I got to make sure that the right values too, because this one looks a little skinny. I wonder if that's why. Let's see. 470 at 16, yep. That's 220 at 16. That's 470 at 16, and this is 470. It looks like a 470. Yeah, this is the original cap. This one is a new one, and that's a new one over here. But this one here is 220, so that's normal too. Let me just double check. 220 should be on this side. Yeah, it is. Okay. Yep, looks good to me. Let's just flip it over now. And everything looks okay. There's no, you know, I just realized these have different looking CPUs than what I have. And I have tons of CPUs, by the way. I'm sticking my head in there, I apologize. But I'm going to put these together. And of course, it didn't come with the standoffs. I think I have extra standoffs. But these CPUs look a little flatter than usual. 68,000. I wonder what revision. Yeah, this is a revision B, so that's good. Let me see if I can pull them. I just had them. What did I do with them? Yeah, I'll just show you on my board. My board has the different chips. You see how they're a little different? These to me look a little newer. I may have replaced these actually because I have a ton of these. I have like 4 of these that I got brand new, just in case they're bad when I'm doing repairs. And these look a little more flat. So if these are bad, I have them. I could swap them out. All right, so let's test this board. Let's stick it in. It looks like it's all good. Let me grab some standoffs. Standoffs I have. I'm just gonna throw them on the board. There's that one there. There's that one. I think I have 4 of them. I should. Let's see. There's another one. Here's another one. So there's 4. And I got what? Another screw right there. Another screw right there. And another screw right there. Okay, so I have them all. Great. Cool. So most likely, if this works, I'm probably going to keep it as a spare. Just to have it, and I'll put it away for safekeeping. And then I have some other boards as well that need repair that I'm going to fix, and then I'll probably end up selling those as fixed. You know, but I definitely, out of all the boards, I want at least 1 spare. And then I do have some turbo. I have 2 turbo Outruns boards as well. I had like 4 board sets, I believe, for Outrun, and then 2 turbo Outruns. So this one, I'm probably gonna keep as a spare. Like I said, whatever works, you know, is what I'm gonna keep. And then I'll get the other ones working, I'm sure, over time. And I'll just put those on eBay for you guys to buy, because, you know, these boards are getting rarer and rarer every day. And a working board set now goes for about 400 bucks, believe it or not. Untested, I've seen them 200, 250. But, you know, I got one a while back for 100. That was really lucky. That, you know, worked great. So we'll see, you know. We'll see how it goes. All right, so I have all the standoffs. This is just a spare piece. Let me just move that over. And we'll get this installed. So let me switch angles and we can go ahead and do that. Okay, we're back. So I'm gonna go ahead and screw it in. I'm gonna open this up and we'll stick this on here. And the way you do it is the part that snaps in on the top here, that you actually join them together, that's the part that goes up. So I'm gonna kind of put this in here. Board looks like it's seen better days. You know, the edges are a little, you know, used. So there we go. Be nice if this works, right? If not, you know, again, I'll just add it to the pile of broken ones, and I'm sure I'll get them all working over time. I have all the RAM chips that I need. So easiest way, you hold it like this with 2 fingers or with your hand, And don't remove this part on here. And basically it just screws in. You don't want to screw it in all the way. You want some play for this side. Let's see if I can get that going. Okay, they're in kind of loose, and then I'll put these in now. Looks like it's good to go. Let's plug it in and see if she works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this around, and then, or I'll just switch angles so you can see it, and then we'll see if it works. All right, guys, so we have another angle here. Everything's all set. I'm going to plug it in, see what happens. So I'm looking at the board, LED's on. Seems to be okay. I'm crossing over here to see what we see. And nothing. Okay. So yeah, there's something definitely wrong with this. Great, now we have another video where I can kind of figure out what's going on. But it could be an EPROM. So the first thing I'm going to do is probably pull all the EPROMs. But before I do that, I may just stick in, I have a test memory tester. But let's see if we can go into, let me try it real quick if I can go into test mode. Oh yeah, that's working at least. Semi-working. Memory test, here we go. So it looks like there's a couple ICs that are bad. All right, that's actually a really good sign. So all I have to do is burn these. So I'm going to reburn this 75, 76, 55, and 54. Oh, that's the RAM actually. These are the ROMs up here, so I can reburn those, and I may be able to fix stuff. But so I may be able to get it to play, but it still is probably going to be glitched out. And then IC 55 is bad, and 54. But these right here that you see all there, they're not all the RAM. I'm going to put it in the RAM tester later, and then you can actually see more. You'll see my other videos. If you want to click on the links up above, you'll see me troubleshoot all that. So oh well, I thought it'd be working right out of the box. I figured 2 out of 2 I'd get really lucky. But it may be a simple fix, so maybe we can do it in the future. If you guys want to see it, just comment down below. Let me know if you want to see that, or if I should just fix it offline myself, or if you want to see that whole process. So again, you know, I'm just going to zoom in a little bit here. You can see the test there. See how it says bad? So yeah, so those are the issues. So I'm going to go to sound actually. Let me go back to that. I'm curious if the sound works. Let's see. Yep. If these are all good, that means I know not to test those EPROMs. Because there's a whole section for the audio that I won't have to touch if these are all good.
Checkpoint. Congratulations.
Get ready.
This one, as you know, is nothing, and then let's see if we hear samples with it. Yeah, so far it sounds good. We'll hear its snare drum right now. Yep, so the sample, the FM synthesis plus the samples are working great. You can just tell. Okay. Let's get out of that. All right, so again, you know, that's what it is. So looking at the board, I'm gonna do a memory test again. 75 is bad and 76. So 75 and 76. Let me take a quick look at that and see. 75. One, two, three, 4, 5, and 6. Okay. Yeah, so what I'll do is I'll swap those out at a later date. But let's go ahead and pop my board back in there and make sure that's working, because we did some caps on that, and we'll be right back. All right, let me try playing now. Let's see.
Get ready.
Cool. Let's see. D, E, and then, oops, did I miss it? Yeah, I know that the pot on this needs to be adjusted for my pedal. Now that I straightened out the, yeah, I'm gonna hit end. It doesn't always register. I think I just have to turn it back and dial it back a little bit to calibrate it. All right, so I'm gonna shut it off and I'll turn it back on. I'll do that right now. All right, so that's off. Plug it back in and let's see if it makes any difference. Let's look for the high score. And it's in a track mode, so you know the enhanced ROMs are working great. There it is, first place, Dell. Nice. Awesome. All right, so it works. All right, guys, that about does it for this video. I'm really glad I got my Outrun all set with the super capacitor. I got the other one set for Bob. That way his is all set with the enhanced stuff. If you guys have any questions about that and how to burn stuff or whatever, I'll be happy to answer it. Just leave me comments, or you can just, send me something on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter down here. It's at Dell's Arcade. And also don't forget, of course, to hit me up here, and you can subscribe if you want by clicking on the banner below. And you can click on the bell icon as well, so it'll remind you to kind of like, it'll send you emails, or if I'm doing a live event, which I do a lot, it'll notify you. The other thing too is I am on Instagram, so if you want to click on the Instagram thing, you can follow me there. I post everywhere, stuff that I'm working on and whatnot. I'm really glad that I got this buttoned up though, and it's one of the things I really like to do, and Outrun, as you guys know, is one of my favorite games. So I do want to mention ZapCon, ZapCon 7 is coming up. It's actually on the 3rd, the 4th, and the 5th. It's on Cinco de Mayo weekend, so it should be really great. It's in Mesa, Arizona. I try to go. I've gone twice already. I missed last year and I wanted to go this year, but I'm missing this year. So I have to kind of, forward it to next year. But I do support the event. I like the guys who organize it, and they're really a bunch of cool dudes out there. So really support them if you're in the area. If you're near California, you can drive there. It's not that far compared to me. I'm all the way on the East Coast here. But I do support them. I have the ZapCon shirt, as you can see. It says ZapCon 7, which is awesome, and I think this is a homebrew version that Yotsuya did, which is pretty cool, and he collaborated with people to do that, I guess. But I am supporting the event. I love doing it. I would love to do a live event one day where I have the thing where I can actually be home while I'm broadcasting live, and I'll have kind of like guys or reporters going out showing me stuff with their footage, and I'll be here. So we'll see. I don't think I'm going to do that this year. I just got so busy with stuff. But maybe next year, or maybe I'll be there live myself. But I really want to broadcast in 1080p. As you guys have seen, I am capable of doing that now with the test feeds that I've been doing. So those will be coming soon. So yeah, again, just subscribe here on the channel. Love to see you guys. And don't forget about the t-shirt campaign. That is below. And that is coming soon at 3,000. We can celebrate by doing that. People have been asking me left and right. I said, I really want to wait till 3,000 to do it. Kind of like a celebration event. So it's going to be a limited time, and there's going to be different colors and styles you could choose from, so that'll be really cool. So I guess that about does it for this video, and I guess I'll see you in the next one. Take care.